All right, ladies. I think once you get on, just make sure that you're muted in the bottom left-hand corner. But we'll get started. It's a little after 9:30, but I just wanted to thank you all for allowing me to jump on your team call. And this is something that I tend to talk a lot about. I don't feel like I'm like this social media, professional or anything, but some of my team likes to think I am. But I have had a lot of success, especially with my like page. So some of these slides are things that I've gotten from some elite coaches on our team, Lindsay Matway, and then just kind of compiled some things myself. So basically, this is just going to be a social media overview, some do's and don'ts, and then kind of how to work your like page and Instagram page to benefit your business. So, okay, so ways to increase your visibility. So you may already know this, but just because you have 500 or 1,000 friends on Facebook does not mean that all of your friends are seeing your posts. So Facebook has these algorithms that it uses to determine who sees your stuff. So you really have to kind of go out there and message these people in order for them to be seeing and for you to be popping up in their newsfeed. So if you haven't talked to here it says Lisa since 2003 when you graduated high school, she's not seeing your post. Now, if you go to her page and, send her a message or you like some of her photos and comment on things, then you're going to start popping up in her newsfeed. So some ways to re-engage. Like I just said, go to her page, comment on her recent posts. Don't just reach out and message her about Beachbody. That may get you blocked or, may offend her or whatever, but re-engage with these people. Create posts that are engaging. Obviously we want to make eye-catching posts. People are so, on their phones or on Facebook scrolling kind of mindlessly, and you want to create things that, make them stop, you catch their attention. Asking opinions or adding value. We just recently built a house and, I kind of already knew what kitchen cabinets I was going to put in my house, but asking people's opinions, people love to share that kind of stuff. So those are great things to kind of get people commenting on your post and on your wall. And then in turn, you start popping up in their newsfeed. It says, I have here, would you be interested in your posts enough to comment? So this is something that I've recently been doing is kind of putting myself in my shoes, 3 years ago before I started, posting things that I would want to comment on or things that would get me interested in the opportunity. So, think about that. And then make a point to re-engage with at least 3 friends a day. Nothing crazy, just be more interested than interesting. So, don't, when you message these people, talk about yourself. Talk about them, ask them questions. People like people who like them. So be interested in them. And again, this is just more ways, example posts about the Facebook algorithm. Ask for advice. It doesn't have to be fitness related. It can really be about anything. So movies, just any of your interests, things about your house, decorating tips. I just posted a post right before this call about getting pictures taken on the beach and what should we wear. So people love to comment on this stuff and it brings people to your page and it's increasing your visibility, which is what we want and we need. So, okay. Expanding your network, another thing that we are all trying to do. We are all looking for, new people to add to our challenge groups and to our team. So again, re-engage with at least 3 friends a day. I try to do at least 5. And don't just message people that, are just random people. Message people who match your niche market. And engage and talk to them about things that are important to them. Again, focus on them. Don't just talk about, yourself and what's new in your life. here it just says, message them and say, hey, I don't hope you don't mind me friend requesting you. I saw we were both mutual friends with, and name a couple people. We seem to have some things in common. And then this is from Lindsay, XOXO, and then just put your name, something short, sweet, and to the point, so that way you're not getting these messages like, do we know each other? So it's just something that, kind of seems to work. It's not like you're just creepily adding people to your network. And don't try to bombard yourself or overwhelm yourself and try to friend request, 20, 30 people in a day. Just stick to like 3 to 5. And if you consistently do that over the course of 30 days, you're going to be re-engaged with 90 friends and have 90 new friends and 180 more people who are seeing your posts. So, just keep it short and sweet, 3 to 5 people, and you're going to continuously grow your network. So be yourself. Facts tell, stories sell. Share your journey authentically and show people all of the ways you are transforming from the inside out. People love to hear about you. You may not think that you're interesting, but people seriously, they just love to hear stories about, not only how Beachbody's changed your life or see your transformation story or, you don't need to post things about, Shakeology facts 24/7. People aren't interested in that. They want to see and hear about how these products and this company is changing your life. So share your story and don't be afraid to share it often. Again, when you're adding people to your network constantly, like we just talked about, new people are constantly seeing your posts. So you may think, oh, I just posted about my coaching opportunity, or I just posted my transformation, and people are going to be like, oh, why is she posting this again? But you need to go in the other room. But new people are constantly seeing your posts. So don't be afraid to keep sharing your story. Again, be more interested than interesting. Breadcrumb information and ask lots of questions to learn more about them and what they are looking for. So again, don't just talk about yourself, talk about them and really find out why they want to do this, what their goals are, whether it is, the coaching opportunity or just joining your challenge group. I found that the more questions I ask and the more of a relationship that I build with these people before bringing them on, the more successful they are in challenge groups and as coaches. Okay, so social media do's and don'ts. So number 1, some people on the call may be new to Beachbody, and if your profile is not public, you should make it public. 2, choose a flattering profile picture of yourself. You don't want, 15 girls in a picture. They want to know, who they're looking at. Don't put a picture of, like it has here, I'm a Beachbody coach. Have a picture of you. Also in like your cover photo, I know most coaches now, do like their little mini reality show or, your niche market. Showcase that in your timeline and on your cover photo. It's just a good way to kind of show what you're about. You don't want to just keep posting, like salesy type things. Okay, another social media overload of things that you should not post. These are just, specials and sales. They don't really relate to you and your story. Yeah, it's okay to post, here, these are lots of PIO pictures, but maybe it's just better to have a post of you doing PIO or results from PIO or whatever the program may be. You don't want to overload and be super salesy. It really tends to turn people away. Facebook tips. So here are 2 things from Melanie Mitro, and in the center, it just says, be a river, not a reservoir. So if you have, people love to hear tips and tricks and things that help you, whether it's stay on track or how you make these really cool posts or, prepping ideas or recipes. So give out this information, these free things that you're giving out, again, bring people to your page. They're drawing them back again and again so that they continuously, are showing up in your news feed, and, you're providing information to them. Again, Instagram don'ts, and it's back to the selling. Don't just post a picture of, Beachbody sales and throw your, your coach link or whatever on there. It's kind of tacky. It doesn't usually work very well. You may get a few likes here and there, but personally, I've never really gotten a lot of traction from posts like these. People tend to stay away from the salesy posts. Things that you should do. These are posts that are great. Involving your kids, if you have kids, in your workout pictures, before and after pictures. And the wording can be the same. Like, we have the 3-day refresh is on sale. But instead of just having a picture of what the 3-day refresh is, post results pictures. People will love to see that. Again, you're putting yourself in there and you're telling your story and how this has worked for you. So these are just a few examples of good posts that, got a lot of likes, a lot of traction, and people were successful with. What your Instagram should look like is your life. So I know Janelle Summers is your upline, whatever, but these are some great posts. She has seriously some of the best recipes. Every single time I see her stuff, I'm like, oh, I need to try that. But obviously she has a huge following, but just simple things, and she's in the picture. If you just want to put a quote, sometimes it's better to just, put the quote on your picture. Again, you're showing your story, you're sharing your life, and people like to see that. It's not just about the selling. Instagram again, what's your Instagram should look like. And again, it's the same kind of thing. You don't want to just post these, T25 sale pictures. Post your results. And I know this is kind of redundant, but I feel like it is super important to kind of get that across. More of what your Instagram should look like, your life. I love following Chelsea. I don't know if you guys follow her on Instagram. I just love her pictures and she usually posts, a great, kind of like a story or post along with her pictures. And of course, she gets tons of traction from these kinds of posts, but she's sharing her life and her story, and not just, I don't think I've ever seen her put up a salesy kind of post. Here's my Instagram. Again, it's quotes, pictures of me. The more I post pictures of like myself or my family, the more likes I tend to get. Income posts, there's just before and afters, just kind of a snapshot of what my Instagram looks like. And again, some more Chelsea's, just to kind of give you an idea of her page. Okay, so how to promote on your like page. My like page has honestly been pretty much my number one source of getting new customers and new coaches. The last few months especially, I've had tons of success with my like page. And, I'm constantly trying to gain a following on there. But so these are some things that I do. So here's just a picture of my like page. And for those of you who have never promoted before, the bottom left-hand corner over here, it says promote page. You're going to click that. And this page is going to pop up. And trying to move this. Okay, there. And what I like to do is put a lot of categories in this interests box. So interior design, physical fitness, stay-at-home mom. So I try to put in there quite a few interests. I also like to narrow down the age group. I typically do 25 to 35, again, just because that's kind of my niche market. I pretty much always do just women, just because I don't tend to have a lot of men on my team. And again, women, busy moms, that's my niche market. I usually do $10 a day, and I choose to run mine. I'll do it like with the little calendar down here. I don't do like 7 or 14 days. And I tend to do it Thursday or Friday through about Monday. And I always make sure that on Saturday I'm posting about my upcoming challenge group. And on Sunday, I'm talking about or posting about the coaching opportunity. And obviously in between there, I'm posting, especially when my page is promoted, recipes, because those are things that people love. I typically do motivation in the morning. I post my workout pictures, and just kind of a little insight into my life. So I try to make sure that I'm posting 5 to 6 times a day when I'm promoting. Doesn't always happen, but that's what I try to do, and it seems to work well when I do it that way. Okay. We can talk more about like pages if you guys have questions. For my like page, just before we go on to Instagram, I got my page to about 1,000 followers. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't have a like page, I'm too late to the game or whatever, focus on what, it depends on, how far along you are into your coaching journey. This is my opinion, but you don't want to take on too much. You don't want to, have an Instagram, a blog, be putting things on Pinterest and running your like page and your main Facebook page. You're just going to be spread too thin. I'm at a point now where I feel like I can successfully post to my main Facebook page because I'm pretty much just posting family related things there with a few fitness or beach body things here and there. And I post kind of the same things that I post on Instagram right onto my main page. And my like page, I got, like I said, to 1,000 followers, and then I started the promoting. Trying to pull this back up here. So it's kind of a slow process, I feel like, unless you're constantly promoting your page. Another great thing to do is what Kelsey talked about, and I'm sure your whole team knows, is the ghost boosting. So I think if you do a mixture of the ghost boosting, I think that's what you guys called it, and promoting, I think that you'll have a pretty successful page in no time. So with Instagram, some of the things that have helped me to grow that, I don't have a huge following on Instagram, but I don't pay for fake followers or anything like that. So top hashtags. Hashtags are important, especially on Instagram. So this website right here, top-hashtags.com, is perfect. You can search in this box anything you can think of. I typically do things like fitness and clean eating, and they come up in groupings of 30. And they're the top hashtags for Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. And you can copy and paste them. And what I do is I copy and paste them into the notes section of my phone, 30 at a time, because that's the maximum that you can post on Instagram. And never add the hashtags to your actual post. You want to, add your picture, make your post, and then in the comment section is where you add the hashtags. And then I just continuously throughout the day kind of remove them and then add the next 30. So I just, like I said, I take them from my notes section and add them onto my page. It is a little tedious, but it definitely works. When I started really doing the hashtags, my following jumped dramatically. The other thing that I have done on Instagram to gain followers is, and I don't know if I've necessarily used this Fit Moms of IG, but find a page that you like to follow. And a lot of pages do shout outs, they call them. And I like to find a page that has, at least 100,000 followers. And again, kind of fits my niche market. And you can message them. Usually they use the app called Kik, K-I-K, and you can pay for a shout out. And some are outrageously priced, like $150 for 24 hours. You can find them very cheap. I think typically it's like $24 or something I've paid for 24 hours. And honestly, you can see, like, I've gained, for $24, got 200 to 300 real followers, which is key. They're not these fake computers. They're people that follow this page, that you give them the picture and what you want them to post. And, it'll say something like, follow this mom of 3, health and fitness lover, whatever. And it's just kind of, you can just sit there and kind of watch your following increase, which is, to me, exciting. So those are 2 things that have really helped me grow a following on Instagram. So that's all I have. I feel like I kind of flew through that. So I can, Kelsey, if you want, let's see here. How do I unmute everyone?